friends, welcome to this week's Kids Church at Home. We are slowly returning to offering our Kids Church in person on Sunday mornings, and so we're going to slowly be winding down these videos. But we've got a few more crafts to get us through the Advent season. So I'm glad you're here to join me this week, and we have a beautiful craft to help us celebrate this week of Advent peace. First, our shout out this week goes to Sam and Michael and Nate. Thank you for joining me to do a craft last week. So this week's theme in Advent is peace. Peace. What is peace to you? I'm sure we have talked about peace before, and so we remember that peace is both a feeling inside of us and also an action we take for the world around us. So peace, when we feel it, might feel like calm or like we're in a good place. Maybe we're not super joyful or excited, but things are good and we're feeling settled. Those are the feelings of peace we might have in us. Actions of peace are helping to create those feelings in the world around us through the way that we spend time with other people, through the way that maybe we problem solve with people, through the way that we reach out and care for people and help them to feel settled. So we have a feeling in ourselves and an action that we take in the world for peace. This week as our craft, we are going to make a peace jar. We've done these shaky jars before and they're lots of fun, and this time we're going to do a Christmassy themed peace jar. And the way that we can use our peace jars is to help us with those feelings of peace inside. So that when we're feeling unsettled, we can shake our jar and we breathe as we watch the elements in the jar settle down. And we try and settle our own feelings down in that too. But when we're doing that, we can also use that time to think about how our actions might help bring peace in that situation. What are the things that we can do to help solve the situation that got us there in the first place, that unsettled our feelings? So we can use our jar both for our feelings and for our actions. So if you were able to pick up a craft kit for the season of Advent, you will find a jar in your craft kit. You will also find some clear glue in your craft kit that I experimented with and I know doesn't work. So you'll need to find your own clear glue, or some glycerin from the pharmacy also works really well. So for this we need a jar with a lid that closes really tight. Inside I have some confetti and I have some beads, and you might have your own things at home that you can add in. I made sure to pick some star-shaped things and things that would remind me maybe of the Christmas story as well. So as I watch them dance in the water, it might remind me of the Christmas story. Along with our jar, we need some water. And as I said before, we need some clear glue or some glycerin. This is just regular Elmer's clear glue that I had at home, and I'm hoping that this one will work because the one in our supply kit, it didn't work at all. Let's get making our peace jar. So the first thing we're going to do is fill our jar about 3/4 of the way up with some water. Then we're going to grab our clear glue and we're going to pour some into water. Now the glue, when we shake it, should disappear into the water, but it should change the way the water moves. So it will slow the water down, which then helps to slow down the things, the confetti and the shapes that we add into it. Well, this is looking better than it did the first time I tried this. So I'm going to put my lid on, I'm going to shake my jar, and hopefully we'll see that this clear glue dissolves and mixes in with the water. Let's all cross our fingers and hope that this works. Well, my friends, I've got a lot of bubbles at the top. Those are going to settle down. but it looks as though it might just work. If you want to see something really fun, I would try mixing that other clear glue in water and see what it does. It was an interesting experiment. It definitely did not mix in the water like this. So I have my water now with some glue. You'll notice I didn't measure the amount of glue that I put in. That's up to you. The more glue you put in, the thicker and slower the water will become. So put a glob or two, but you don't need to put too much because you still want the items in the water to move around. Okay, as I wait for these bubbles to settle, I'm going to pour in my confetti and my beads and my stars. Well, this is looking really great. It's already working. I need to let the rest of my bubbles settle. When the bubbles are lower, I can fill up the jar with more water right up to the rim, not to the very top. And then my piece jar will be ready to use. Here we are, my friends. My bubbles all settled down. I've added water right to the top of the rim, leaving some air at the top so that it's easier to shake. I've screwed on my lid nice and tight, and parents out there, you might want to glue the inside of that lid so it doesn't come off and we don't get glittery, confetti, gluey water spills all over the place. And now my piece jar is ready. And you know, this time leading up to Christmas can be full of excitement. It can be full of days when we don't get enough sleep. It can be full of days when we see too many people and we need a little bit of space to just quiet down and find that peace inside of us. And remember that story of God loving us and being part of life and part of humanity. And so we can use our peace jar to remember that story and to remember that God is here with us. God with us in this peace jar. Let's give it a shake and see how it works. I love seeing the last star as it settles to the bottom. Well, my friends, as you create peace in the world this week and you find peace within yourself as well, may there be love in your heart to give. May there be joy in your heart to share. And may there be strength in your heart to lift others up. See ya.